We got you.
Yeah, we got you.
Coming back.
That corner of Vermont could very easily exist in the Riverlands, like as we've laid it out.
Absolutely. The vibe is there. It's
the Tower Town is on, I believe, the west coast, the west coast of the continent. So there could be a Northeast Kingdom. Well, there's the Silver Kingdom.
Yeah, there's
the
Northeast Kingdom and the Silver Kingdom are like very It's just like it's a pain to get to. It's not necessarily dangerous, but it kind of feels dangerous because they're like big animals.
Exactly. Yeah, this isn't even a background. This is where I am right now.
It's just a view out the window.
Yeah, you just pop the squad outside. That's
yeah,
what it looks like.
No problemo. If a bear comes, they'll just join the stream.
Yeah, I'll be like, "Wow, cool animated background." Oh no! Oh no!
That was good noise.
Great bear noise, Ryan. Really good.
That was so
quality
good.
stuff.
I'm practicing my throat singing. So
nice.
Right. That'll come.
Well, anyway, speaking of adventures and big scary things and throat singing, welcome to Knights of Prospect, episode, if my math is right, 56. My name is John Serpico, and I am the Game Master, and I think I will talk us into this one. Why the heck not? Hey. What you are about to see is a fully improvised, except for a couple of sentences I've written in advance, a fully improvised role-playing adventure that stars these four amazing improvisers along with me. They are four of several dozen Knights of Prospect, an ancient and powerful and benevolent order of knights that try to bring peace to the Riverlands, keep the downtrodden safe, bring justice to those that need it. They are, in point of fact, very far from the Riverlands. They are wandering hundreds of miles to the south in Orcish territory, in thousands of square miles of what is ostensibly enemy terrain, full of orcs that have been warring with humans and dwarves for centuries. So they are far from home and surrounded by danger and currently seeking the whereabouts of an ancient elven city that was lost somewhere in the continent here. So that's the story. You're all caught up. Good news. If, however, you want a little more detail than that, well, good news there, everybody. All of our previous episodes are on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com, look up Knights of Prospect, and there we are. And we are also a podcast, and dare I say, a great one. And we can be found wherever you find your podcasts. So that's fun too. But forget about that. Past this prologue. We are now here and in the present, and it's time to introduce everybody else. So, Kylie, why don't you talk about your character?
Wonderful. So my name is Kylie in the realm of life outside of this world. But in this world, I am Jelly, the human thief, 11 years of age and full of mischief and a spirit, an adventurous spirit. So I did sort of flee the domestic safety of my family at a young age, off to the races to be a hero for glory. And I am an expert in potions, picking locks and setting traps. And I'm very quick and slippery. I'm very sneaky. So that's what I got going on. All right, let's go on to Kaylee.
Yeah, Kylie, thank you. I'm going to try to make it just as exciting as that intro was. Vil, just a few describing words about Vil. Determined. I think that about sums it up. Vil's very determined right now, especially to find
socially awkward.
Okay, well, all right. This wasn't an open format. Socially awkward. I think she's not very charismatic, but she knows a lot about the forest. She knows a lot about her pal Hobie, who is a duck, her best friend, and I think that tells you all you need to know about her social skills. But it's not really her.
Oh no.
Fault. Vil had a rough go of it. She died a while back, came back thanks to the Forest of Imlan, and is now the Forest Revenant of Imlan, which gives her all kinds of super fun special powers, and not the power to be charming to other people. But hey, what are you going to do?
Showing off some of that revenance right there. The Wi-Fi, Kaylee, the Wi-Fi revenant.
Oh no, it's gonna be rough tonight, folks. I'm trying to hang in there.
We will endure like the great forest of Imlan.
Thank you very much, Ryan. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm having a hearty ale right here out of my ceramic mug. It's not mead. I think I do have some mead somewhere that my friend made, but mead is not my character's style. He's more of the bitter type. So and my character, of course, is the Dwarven Legionary Gladish Cutbeard. It's different.
Ryan, I think your Wi-Fi cut out.
It did a little bit. As your Wi-Fi cut out, you say that. Yes, Dwarven Legionary, good in a scrap. He's a good fighter. Maybe also a little socially awkward or just standoffish from folks, but is in there to get the job done. Hates magic. Don't like magic very much. Being of the earthy and dwarven mindset, you should engineer things the good old-fashioned way, not conjure them up like a coward. So, and
then it's me. Hi, everybody.
Yep.
Hey, I'm Sumit. My character's name is Raspberry Snowberry. I'm a cleric and a priest. I would describe Raz as giving, caring, wise, maybe, or he likes to think so sometimes. I'd say he's wise sometimes and really dumb sometimes. It kind of flips between the two. He found his parents a while ago. I think it's been 10 episodes or so. But that was sort of the last major event for him. And he's excited to be, travel around with his buds. Back to you, sir.
There it is. Nice. That's the gang. So let's talk a little bit about the rules and then we'll jump right in. We use the Powered by the Apocalypse role-playing system, which is nice and easy for watching. So every so often, when the outcome of something is not guaranteed, I am going to ask the characters, the players, to roll 2 6-sided dice. On a 10 or higher, they get what it is that they want. On a 7 to 9, they get a little of what they want, or they have to make a difficult choice. On a 6 or less, they do not get what they want, or they have to make an incredibly serious choice. No matter what happens when the dice are rolled, the story does move forward. Very rarely, if ever, are things ever as simple as you miss or you don't find the trap. It's usually everything is additive here. So that's what you can expect over the next hour to 90 minutes or so. So with that, I think we are equipped to get started here. So let's jump right in, shall we? Okay. Vil, you are walking around in an unfamiliar place. It's a city, but that's almost too simple of a term. It's a city woven across the top of a mountain range with trees that ought not to be able to grow this tall at this altitude. The people here, elves, seem very happy, and there's music in the air, a festival of some kind, perhaps. A delegation of dwarves in regalia of high office walk through and down the street that you're kind of standing on, flanked by legionaries. You're standing under a willow watching all of this when you become aware that Raz and Jelly and Gregory are here too. Gregory, you notice how can you not, that the legionary uniforms, you have one, you wear one, you've fought in one. These are legionary dress uniforms, but you haven't seen this particular kind outside of statues. Jelly, everybody here, literally everybody, is festooned with their clothes are nice, they're wearing jewelry, everybody is. There's magic in the air here, you can tell. Raz, you are aware that Enteresh does not walk here. This is a place that humans are not. And so all of you are just kind of there and looking at all of this and starting to paint this picture of what you're seeing here. The three of you all look to Vil, since you all feel like strangers here, but Vil is just as enwrapped by what she's seeing as you all are. The dwarven legionaries and the delegation walks by. They're followed by an honor guard of elves wielding weaponry that no elf has made in 1,000 years, though great curved spears of forgotten times. And you're all just kind of taking in a parade of some sort.
Gregory?
What is it?
Do you recognize any of them?
Never seen them before in my life. But that armor, that means something.
Like what? High status?
High status, high office, high regard. I've never seen a dwarf wear it.
Does this mean they're preparing for a battle, Gregory?
No. You wouldn't wear this to a battle. Could probably punch right through it if I wanted to, but I don't.
Oh. The pomp and the circumstance of this all. Look at all
ceremony,
the
then.
accessories, the ritual and the ceremony.
Don't get any
everything.
ideas.
I think maybe I'd like to get a little bit closer to get a better look at some of these dingle dangles coming off of these outfits.
Yeah, Jelly, 2d6 plus dexterity.
Okay. Oh, good. We got 8.
All right. Yeah, okay, partial success. Let's do it this way. You either notice something very valuable or take something not valuable, your choice.
Ooh. I would like to notice something very valuable.
It's clear at this point this is a parade. It's not just like the Dwarven Legionaries and the Elven Honor Guard. It looks like there are collections of people from kind of all over the place. Their dress is different. Their garb is different. The thing you notice that is of particular value is this great silver censer that's just kind of spitting out this perfumed smoke. It's like this giant metal orb full of incense inlaid with jewels that's carried by an elven lord. The reason why you know it is because it's in your vault at Etama. And it's been there for centuries. And you know it because you've been in your own vault a number of times. And the weird thing about being in the Knights of Prospect vault is you're always like, I want to steal it. But then it's like, well, where would I put it? This is my stuff. But it's out in the wild and being used. And that starts giving you a very weird feeling about where you are. And you kind of turn and are about to say something about it to everybody when you see Raz's eyes go wide. Because also walking through in this great procession, Raz, is Wone, the first apostle of Enteresh.
Wow.
Very old but spry, supported by several people, walking with a staff. No one has looked at any of you. They're all kind of duty bound to walk and process. But Wone does not stop, but he turns, and Raz, he locks eyes with you for just a moment, and you feel very, very seen. His eyes don't scan over you, they focus on your eyes for a few seconds. And then he just keeps walking. And they're all walking to this place in this impossible city. This tower that you're not sure if it's part of one of the mountains or an actual construct. It's this weird tower with mage glass winding through it. So tall and so thin that you couldn't even imagine stairs in it. But sitting on top of it is something called the Living Throne. And Vil, you don't know why you know it is called the Living Throne, but you know it is. And you know that sitting atop the Great Tower is the Living Throne.
Does this look to me like an elven ceremony?
An elven ceremony in a great elven mountaintop citadel.
Based on what I see, can I discern anything else about the ceremony?
Sure. Let's have you do it the old-fashioned way. Why don't you roll Discern Realities, 2d6 plus Wisdom.
6.
You can ask one question. It may not be good news.
From the discern
Realities list.
realities list?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Can you remind me what
The Discern Realities list. What happened here recently? What is about to happen? What should I be on the lookout for? What here is useful? What here is not what it appears to be? Who's really in control here?
Who's really in control here?
No one, because the Living Throne has been empty for over 1,000 years. And the four of you wake up around a smoldering campfire. It smells terrible because it has smelled terrible since you've been in the Orcish wildlands, since all of it is swamp. You all look at each other and realize that you were in the same dream.
Whoa. Yeah. We were in a dream. We all just woke up because I got my bed head.
Yeah. I saw you guys there. It felt so real.
Whoa.
Some sort of hilltop.
Yeah.
You said, whoa, that's your god man who was there, yes?
Yes. Wone.
I think it might have been.
Wone.
Whoa.
Wone.
Wone.
Yes. Was there. Did you see him as well? He's been dead for thousands of years. Thousands.
Whoa.
And there he walked. Old, but still, he had it. It was him, for sure, for certain. He looked at me in the eyes.
Oh my gosh.
What is this magic?
This is either some sort of portent or something is infecting us.
It's incredible.
This has happened before. Some sort of magician inflicting magic on us.
But why? We did nothing. We affected nothing. We just observed. Why would we be meant to observe those specific things?
Maybe it's signaling. It's teaching us about something we have to do, or it's helping us look inwards. That's what a lot of times what dreams are. They help us see our psychological foundations and to give us a sense of understanding. That is something I read. I read that once when I was learning to read.
I would say that dreams are just the brain emptying itself of useless thought.
Oh.
Brain having a bowel movement.
Brain, a bowel movement?
Yes, the brain takes in so much during the day, it has to empty out its contents to make room for new useful information.
Oh, like the digestive, like a system of digestion, but it's for brain thoughts.
Also known as thoughts.
Well, that's what some of people say.
Yes, I said it.
Or perhaps dreams are when we, as anxious beings, reach out to the universe for answers, and the Lord above provides them by inserting images and feelings surrounding our anxieties to help us, as Jelly said, maybe understand them or process them, and then be able to face them when the time comes.
To prepare us. It's like a dress rehearsal for a feeling. Oh, I saw something very valuable there that is in our sort of special chambers, and it made me feel really strange to see it out and about being used, even though I knew it was ours and it was safe, but then it was taken. Maybe I have a fear of things being taken from me or of loss. It's hard to know.
Yeah. All of this stays with you for a while, and you talk it through, and like any theory is as good as any other. Some of the other knights with you are, kind of similarly kind of afflicted with odd dreams. But yours were the most vivid. Like you all kind of gathered around and talked about it. And yours was of a place, and you were all there, and you kind of felt feelings and heard each other's voices and all of that. And Vil, if you were to guess, you would guess that was Alveolora, or an echo of Alveolora, reaching out to the people that were destined to find it. And that is the cold breakfast that you all eat as you kind of wake up to figure out the day. There's, all of you are trying to figure out ultimately kind of where to go. You essentially have an artifact that is a compass that's more or less pointing in a straight line. And that compass should, according to the, Delphine and Corentin, who you captured, will point you to Alveolora. But what it points through is something called the Keening Fields. The Keening Fields are a great grassland, and in it are a collection of towns under the control of someone named Homraz, or Homraz. Homraz has designs on marching an army to war against the Vorish frontier, to attack the gate fortresses. He has visions of becoming the next great overlord of the orcs. And he right now owns a patch of country that is, a few hundred square miles. So the issue is, of course, how the heck do you get across the Keening Fields? This is much more densely populated than the Swamp Empire to the south. And, you have friends down there, so to speak, but no one in the Keening Fields will be your friend. These are all people that have orcs that have sworn fealty to Homraz, and kind of pledged sword and spear and shield to him when the time comes for him to consolidate his power and march north. So that's pretty bad for a bunch of people from the north to be. And you're kind of at a crossroads about what exactly to do, especially since Vil is very insistent, and all of you, especially with shared dreams, are now starting to believe her more and more. And, you're all kind of gathered around the fire, talking about this with the other knights and Hobie the duck and Dolly the great siege golem, whose Dolly's advice is consistently, we should kill all of the orcs here. And she explains in great detail how she plans on ripping them apart and smashing down their walls and things like that. And Gregory Dolly is always making tremendously cogent points. But the fact of the matter is, you're going to have to cross hundreds of miles of unfamiliar territory with literally every living thing there wanting to do you harm. And so you're trying to kind of piece together what a plan is when Hobie the duck starts quacking a quack of danger. And the three of you just kind of respond first, and Vil, and you all kind of run out from like the little hollow you're camping in, and you see two figures on horseback, kind of riding through the morning mist at you, and you all kind of get weapons and magic and all of that ready. And one of these two figures, and they're like heavily cloaked and robed against like the cool humidity, starts waving his hands. No, we come as friends. We come as friends. Gregory, you know that voice. Very, very far from where you think he would be. But one of those two men is Wyman the Younger, heir apparent to the throne of the Dominion of Vor, wearing war armor, riding. Actually, no, they're walking on foot. No, they left their horses behind. But yeah, he's wearing his war armor, carrying like this big pack. And he waves, and the other person who immediately starts running forward is another Knight of Prospect, Ruxley, the Silver Badger Leontiev, the famed duelist. Probably like arguably one of the most skilled swords people in the Riverlands. And yeah, the two of them just kind of flag you down. Hello, yes, thank goodness. And like Ruxley starts like looking you up and down and making sure it's all you. Wyman the Younger, looks at all of you and then looks at you, Gregory. Hail, Legionary.
Hail and glory to Vor.
May the hegemony live forever. Well, this is an odd place to meet everyone. It appears that Ruxley was correct, and so was the magic that got him here.
I was going to say I didn't think Anyone from the Northlands would make it across the Keening Fields, the southern tip.
Ruxley steps forward and holds out his hand. We didn't. Artifact from the vault. The answered call, I believe it is. You are knights in danger. This ring seeks you out. It has one charge left. I can get us all home right now.
I don't think we can do that.
Oh, Wyman is puzzled. I'll speak your mind, legionary.
Well, if it were up to me, we would. I don't like being in the Orcish lands any more than any other legionary would, but we seem to have some sort of purpose here.
Purpose?
Yes, according to Vil, we seem to have been called. We're seeking for something. Perhaps you've heard of it. Alve Alora. Don't laugh.
I shan't. The prince looks at Ruxley, and Ruxley thinks about it for a second and starts kind of singing a song almost to jog his memory, which gets Winnie and Ronaldo singing the same song, and now they're just a trio of people with nice voices all singing songs.
Bards.
And Prince Wyman doesn't stop them, but kind of under the backing vocals. The ancient elven city, that is a myth that all of the court bards sing about, each tale grander than the last.
Well, we found they tell it different in the Orcish lands.
It is no myth.
Prince Wyman is as far as nobility goes, well, down to earth is not the right word. From the day he was born, he knew that he was going to grow up to be the king of a country that has always been at war. Maybe pragmatic's the right term. But the second Vil said that, he kind of looks at Vil, and Raz, you look at him, and you feel kind of the power of Enteresh in him. You think he's trained as a paladin of Enteresh. And he kind of ponders for a second, and he kind of looks up at the sky, and Raz, you hear the question he asks to Enteresh. And then he looks back at Vil. I believe you. Which means that I must presuppose the existence of Alve Alora. How do you plan on seeking it?
With faith.
And this device.
Well, if we presuppose both faith and the functioning of this device, let me see it. He puts it down on like a rotting stump, and thanks sweet goodness, he has a map of the Orcish lands with him, which, boy, that's exciting. He lays it out. He gets a sense of where he is, and kind of orients himself and assumes Ode Kramad is that way, and you're on the southern ridge of the Keening Fields and all of this stuff. And he kind of takes a map and takes this compass and draws a line. And he essentially says, well, Alve Alora is somewhere on this line. My guess is it's either there or there. And he points to two places where military surveyors who have like ranged deep into the Orcish wildlands have noted mountain ranges. So the fact of the matter is you now kind of have some targets. But the fact remains they're both on the other side of the Keening Fields. The thing that he shows you that is of particular note, though, is there's a river that snakes through the Keening Fields. Well, if we're going this way, I recommend going that way. We just need a boat.
Boat's a tall order in this part of the world. Not much in the way of timber, and I wouldn't trust Orcish construction.
Suppose it depends on the orcs constructing it. Orcs would use a river just like the Vorish or the elves, or dwarves that don't mind being on water, which is fine if you do. It depends on where. If we find the river and travel it, we may actually find people that have already built a boat using the natural resources. And besides, the Keening Fields are ostensibly a little more hospitable than the Swamp Empire.
You'd actually be surprised about the Swamp Empire.
How so, Legionary?
Well, I'll say that we met orcs. And we're still alive, and they're still alive.
Well, this has been a very surprising day for me. Perhaps your luck holds. I hope it does, since your luck now affects me directly.
Well, as much as I hate to say it, I suppose a boat is our best option.
I think it could be nice to get out on the water. I think it could be good for us.
Well, you keep thinking that.
This might be a little bit outside the box here, but Winnie's always able to conjure up fish at appropriate times. Maybe she could get us a bed of fish to travel along the river.
Winnie, who's here, kind of thinks about that. Well, it's a tall ask, but I could certainly try it. Fish do love me.
They've helped us so many times.
Indeed.
Wonderful. We'll sail into Orcish hell on the backs of river fish.
Fish raft.
They'll never see it coming. They won't even know what they're looking at.
I'm sure we'll live to tell the tale.
Wyman looks at Ruxley, and Ruxley taps the ring and says, Prince, I'm sorry to say I'm not going anywhere. I think I need to see how this all plays out. And Wyman nods. Normally having a Prince of War in your midst means that I could promise all of the support and backing of one of the great nations of humanity. But since I am so far from home and my loyal retainers, all I can offer is my own self and my maps. And he taps his left hip and my blade. And Gregory, you know what that is. That's the sword of Thor. That thing is like 800 years old, and maybe the only human-made weapon you respect. So really the goal is to kind of find a river and see what happens, or find the river. So whichever one of you is feeling like you want to take the lead on go through the Keening Fields to find the river, roll some dice. Or tell me how you want to do it and then roll some dice.
I'll roll some dice.
Roll some dice.
Well, it looks like the charts put the river east of where we are. Can find east relatively easily enough. Where'd the sun come up? There it is. Whoa. We'll head east in a due line. The Keating Fields are relatively flat. We're going to stay low. Everyone stay as low as possible. If there's high grass, you are below the high grass.
I can do that standing straight up.
Congratulations. I'm more concerned about Raz. Anyway, stay as low as possible. Dolly will just be Dolly. And we'll hope the orcs think it's a mirage.
Should there be any walls, I can take them down easily.
I don't think that will be necessary, Dolly, but thank you. Keep the weapons drawn. High alert. We move east.
So this will be we'll call this a defy danger roll. I'll give you wisdom for it, +1, because it sounds like you know what you're talking about. And another +1 because you've got a bunch of people helping you. So 2d6 plus wisdom +2.
9.
Okay, partial success. How do we want to do this? We'll do it like this. So you all kind of arrange into like a kind of a war party here. You're staying low, you're spread out, you've got literal birds in the air. You've got Hobie and you've got Hazel. And, between that and Gregory's tactical prowess and, Vil's abilities and Jelly's and like Raz's ability to heal and nourish people after they eat something terrible, you're able to make pretty good time east and generally stay out of the sight of anything terrible. What you do see, though, because you've now kind of left what could be described as the Swamp Empire, and you're in just fields, just huge grasslands of tall, like very ubiquitous, tall, razor-sharp grass. That is like, it's like you go hiking and there are ticks and things biting you, but it's not ticks, it's the grass itself. It gets in through your sleeves, like up under the bottom of your pants. At one point, Ronaldo has to sit and pull a blade of grass from the leather sole of his boot. This is pretty miserable stuff that you're hiking through. What you see, which is even more terrifying than the grass, are that there are orcish villages kind of everywhere. Like kind of one on every horizon, all built, this, like remarkably clever village design, because the outer ring of buildings in every village are connected with kind of mud and straw walls. So every small town has walls around it, essentially. And you get to the river. Now, the partial success means you find the river without being spotted by orcish patrols, orcish hunters, all of those, all of the folks that would see you and want to destroy you. But the partial success is going to come from the fact that the town that has a boat in it, and not only a boat, a long boat, big enough for all of you, is not one of these small, ingenious orcish villages. It looks like a small fort. There are flags flying above it. Big, long banners. And Gregory, you know what those banners are. They are for a group. You don't know whether to call them special forces or religious fanatics, but they refer to themselves as the Bloodied. So, Gregory, what do you know about the Bloodied?
The Bloodied are often in the 2 major invasion attempts that I saw in my time on the Vorish front. The Bloodied were the vanguard on both. Bloodied were some sort of a combination of reconnaissance and shock troops. Very heavily armored, but surprisingly quick on their feet. I killed one. And it brought me immense glory in my unit.
How'd you kill it?
A patrol of 3 of them were attempting to invade our camp. We were stationed in the upper foothills on the south side of the range. And this was at the beginning of the second invasion, Hormuz's invasion. 3 of them came in. They must have known we were there, probably spotted a fire or patrol during the day because we slept fireless. They came in at night, almost invisible. Took out about 3 or 4 dwarves, but I was able to grab one by the neck, basically leverage it down, choked him out, crushed his skull. I have this ear as a trophy.
Wow, look at that ear.
I'm going to tuck this away.
It's got earwax in it.
I'll pull it out again. Yes, there's earwax. That ring in the ear.
Ooh.
Seems to be a symbol of their unit, their order, whatever you call it. If they were to see I had this, they would kill all of you and they would save me. And they would have me die over the course of probably 2 months. If you think orcs are bad, these are the worst.
I want Hobie to wait in the boat.
Hobie waits in the boat. I'll describe what you can see from here. Well, one other thing too. Prince Wyman kind of listens enwrapped to all of this, and says, "I can only add 2 things. One is I was on one of the tower fortresses during that second invasion. I put 5 arrows into one of the Bloodied, and it did not die. Someone else had the glory of killing it. The other is that they occupy a very interesting part of Orcish society in these parts. Normally, the most powerful and fearsome orcs aim to create for themselves an empire within the Orcish nation itself. And eventually one's empire will come into conflict with another, and one overlord kills another, and everything combines. Which means that the strongest, the most cunning, the most ambitious orcs are usually commanding war bands. The Bloodied swear off any kind of leadership. They kill because they want to. Their purpose is to kill. Their purpose is to break the great gates of war. They care not who leads them. Everything the legionary said is very true, alas. The boat you're looking at is a longboat. It is strange looking. It almost looks like it's, and when Hobie gets close, Hobie can see this. It's like the size of, to use an anachronism from another world, like a Viking longship, just huge oar-driven boat. But unlike a longship, it's not made of wooden planks. It looks like it's made of a wooden frame over which this very grass was woven. So it's almost like it's a 50-foot long basket. But it's big. It supports a mast and a bunch of rowboats, or a bunch of oars. And you all kind of do the displacement math in your head. That would probably fit all of you and maybe Dolly if Dolly laid perfectly flat. But yeah, that's your ride. The only problem is it's in the middle of a river on this like little dock. The dock emerges from the shore in the middle of this town, and the town is completely surrounded by a semicircular wall that goes from like one bank, that goes from like the bank of the river out and then back to the bank, and in here is a town. There are tall buildings here, guard towers, and it looks busy. There are cook fires. So the big question is, what do you want to do?
I would like to find the religious element in this town and speak to them and try to kind of relate to them on a spiritual level and see if we can get permission to use the boat in that way.
So this is a diplomatic envoy, so to speak.
Yeah.
You want to go in and knock on the door. Sounds good to me. Anyone coming with?
No.
You're out of your mind, priest.
I'll go with you.
Thanks, Jelly.
I got your back.
I love it. The two of you kind of shed what you need to shed and equip what you need to equip. And all of you just, like, everyone else, like, gets low. This is a remarkably flat land, but you kind of find a bit of a depression to hide in. And Raz and Jelly, you see them walk to clear, like, the mile from where you're kind of laying low to the gate. You get about halfway before one of the towers, you see movement in one of the towers, and a figure kind of stands up and looks and takes a horn and blows it. And, these gates kind of swing open within the walls, and 3 orcs jog out. Tall, kind of these big, broad breastplates, wielding incredibly heavy-looking swords. And they all kind of jog out and wait for you to get closer. When they notice that you are not orcs, you are humans, and one of them being a child, they turn and shout back into the walls, and then someone else comes out as well, a 4th orc, dressed much the same, but carrying this big spear. Let's describe the orc with the spear. Everyone give me a sentence about them.
This orc with the spear, I mean, he's got a spear, so he's broad-shouldered for sure. He is wearing a tank top, like just kind of like scraps. So you can really see like this orc works out. And capris. Let's say he wears capris, so
Sure.
You can see like his calves.
Yeah, capri is definitely a sensible shoe. Shoe, but it seems to have some sort of cleating on the bottom to help with grip and potentially as a weapon as well. So the shoes are both frightening and also quite sensible. And then atop the head, there is a sort of a greasy strand of hair, like one dark greasy strand of hair that slicks down, and it's over the shoulder.
That strand of hair sets this orc apart from the rest of the bloodied, who are normally completely head shaven and tattooed scalps as a dedication. This orc also has a significant facial scar down that covers one of the eyes. The eye seems to open, the left eye, but it's discolored compared to the other.
He would be quite intimidating were he not carrying a very large piece of corn on the cob and seems more interested in that than anything else.
Yeah. He walks up, kind of plants his spear in the ground and kind of waves the other orcs back. Looks at the two of you.
Hello.
Ah, you are human.
Yes. And you,
I
sir?
speak your language.
Ah, wonderful. It's so nice to meet somebody out here in the wild who speaks human language as well.
I captured a pair of humans once. Rangers of some sort. We call them runners here, but humans call them rangers. I captured them. They were ranging. This was during the last war. I kept them alive for 3 years to learn your language. And then by the end, they thought we were friends. The shock when I pulled out their stomachs. Oh.
Wow.
But anyway, now I know the language.
Yes.
My name is Mekuz the Beautiful.
I am Raz of the Riverlands. And this?
I am Jelly. I am an 11-year-old, and I am a skilled thief.
Oh, impressive. Take something from me.
I would like to capture your attention. I'm showing you. Look at this. I can do a little puppet with my hands.
2d6 plus charisma, plus 1 for the sheer brazenness of the attempt.
Oh god. All right.
They're going to be killed.
I ready my bow.
What a way to go out. Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. I got 7.
All right. You can either ask Mekuz a question that Mekuz will answer honestly, or you can take something from him.
Ooh. Okay. How about I ask him? I'm gonna ask him about the boat.
Yeah, what do you want to know about the boat?
Let's see. Oh, I'd like to know what we can do to use the boat. And then he'll answer honestly. What can we do to arrange using the boat?
Two humans. So far from home. I don't even know where the Riverlands is. You came all of this way to ask me about a boat. You want
compelled.
to... Ah. Well, I am intrigued. That was one of the last words they taught me, intrigued. What can I do? What can you offer me to have use of my boat? Well, I can think of something. There is a village upriver. We built that boat to besiege it. Or a village of those we have quarreled with in the past. Their leader is someone we hate and we think deserves to die. So we were going to get into this boat and sail up the river and kill everyone in that village. If you want this boat, you can kill everyone in that village.
how about could we maybe compromise here and agree to your suggestion, but maybe rather than kill them, how about we set up a meeting of sorts where we can come to a compromise between your great village and their village as well. And we will serve as intermediaries. I'm sure things have gotten to a point where you don't see eye to eye. Things have gotten so far away from being able to sit at a table and have a conversation. And Jelly here is fantastic at making people feel comfortable and at home. He makes a great cheese plate, for instance, and I will be there to oversee the proceedings. And perhaps if we can come to an agreement, then your problem will be resolved without the need for violence.
Wow.
Makuz is tickled by this to the point where he asks one of the other orcs for more corn, which he proceeds to eat while listening. Diplomacy. Yes, I know that word as well.
It's a lost art.
And cheese plates. Cheese plates is a lost art.
A counter to the counter. This is what I would like to happen. As a sign of good faith that the other village would like to negotiate, I just need the right hand of the leader of that village.
Okay.
Goodness.
What about an ear?
Okay. Sure, an ear, or if we could counter to the counter, maybe a robe, or are you in need of maybe a pants, like a full set of pants, or a rug, or maybe a shirt? I'm sure they have great tailors.
Shirt with sleeves.
Arrange. Yeah.
Maybe a shirt with sleeves, or a pant that is full length.
Raz, let's have you roll for this. 2d6 plus wisdom.
How have they not killed him yet?
Oh, 11.
Oh, all right. You get a very clear picture of what's going on here, which is this. You see, the bloody, start to kind of climb up on the walls and just watch this. And a bunch of them now have these big long bows that are like 7 feet long. And all of them just like have very casually knocked arrows. And you're pretty sure that the only thing at this point keeping you from being the target of like 24 orcs is the fact that Makuz seems to be having the time of his life. So the fact that Makuz is negotiating with humans that have inexplicably shown up on his front door is so fun that he has not yet given the signal to kill you, which would probably be something as simple as like this, and then you just are dead. But Makuz looks at you. Is it just the two of you?
Indeed.
Well, 2 lost humans looking to negotiate for a very large boat. My final offer. I need the hand of Ganvuk, the leader of that village. When Ganvuk gives me his hand, I will believe that he is ready to negotiate in the human fashion.
If he gives you his hand, then you will negotiate. Am I understanding that correct? If he gives you his hand, then he will negotiate, and you will as well.
Sail my boat north. Present yourself to Ganvuk. Say that Makuz the Beautiful wants to negotiate and take his hand. Either he cuts it off, or I don't think he has the stomach to. You cut it off for him. And send it back here.
But as you said, gives his hand. Perhaps a handshake is really all that is in order. By technical terms of what you said and what we agreed to, gives his hand could be a handshake.
Makuz walks forward and puts a hand on your shoulder. My human friend, this is great.
I'm having the time of my life.
I have always wanted to do this.
This feels good.
Yes, fruitful. Fine.
What's going on, Gregory?
If Ganvuk does not give me his hand in a bag, then just invite him aboard the boat. Give me the whole orc.
Agreed.
Perfect. Well, the boat is yours. Bring me either the hand or the whole orc.
And it shall be done. Hey,
We can do it. We will.
It's touching him, but it's not killing him.
I don't understand.
And yeah, Makuz invites you in. Just slapping both of you on the back, laughing.
this is great.
What a day for Makuz the Beautiful. Yes, by all means. No, welcome. Welcome
please,
to the
your finest-
encampment.
Your finest mead. Or I thought you were offering stuff for us, but we could just hang out as well.
Oh, no. You shan't be staying. You need to be on that boat immediately.
Yes. Okay. That we shall do immediately.
That said, if you would like to exchange gifts, that sounds fantastic.
What do
Maybe
you think, Jelly?
No, maybe we'll save that. We'll save that for later.
Oh, you are insulting me by not taking gifts that I would like to give and giving me some in return.
We would rather save the surprise for another time. I'm sure you like surprises as much as we do.
With the day I've had, I love surprises. Yes, here's your boat.
Thank you.
Oh,
I hear humans like to name things. What would you like to name the boat?
We'll name it after you, sir. The Makuz Cruise. We'll call it the
Makuz
Makuz.
Cruise. He turns around, raises his big arms. Makuz Cruise and 50 orcs. At this point, they're all wearing armor and big smiles. Makuz Cruise. They're all clapping and laughing. And you are, and the two of you get into the boat. All the orcs are clapping for you. You throw off the line, and the boat starts drifting into the middle of the river.
goodbye.
So Gregory and Vil, here's what you see. You see the two of them talk with an 8-foot-tall armored capri shorts wearing killing machine.
Yes.
Who really enjoyed all of this, who then invited them in, gave them a boat, and then sent it off with applause.
It was unnerving.
Pretty much straight through.
Hobie's on the boat with them.
Yep, it's the two of them and Hobie.
He was hiding.
Yeah, Hobie on the boat, Jelly and Raz, Hobie kind of emerges and looks around and looks at the oars and then realizes he cannot row the boat himself. And it's starting to drift away. Gregory and Vil, the two of you could probably make it to that boat now that it's untethered and starting to drift. Probably anyone more than just you two would not. Like two people sneaking through the low grass might be able to make it to this boat before it's out of sight. So the question is, of course, do you want to do that?
Will we remain unseen?
I'm going to have you roll a die.
Gregory?
We can't move with the whole party. The minute Dolly stands up, they'll be on us. I don't like their chances. Vil, you and I, now, go.
Yes.
All right. Vil, let's have you roll for it. We'll make this 2d6 plus wisdom to, get a sense of eye lines, essentially hunt your way and track your way through.
10.
Well, that is a very timely 10. Thank goodness. So, you all kind of look back and like Ruxley and Wyman and the rest of the knights are just kind of all giving you a puzzled look, and the two of you just like sprint off. Raz and Jelly, this longboat is enormous. It's like 50 feet long. It feels very light in the water and fairly unbalanced. It's got like a very flat bottom to it. Surprisingly dry, though, considering it's made of essentially woven grass. The problem, though, is this thing is 50 feet long and has enough room for like 20 orcs with oars on either side. And there are only two of you plus a duck. And so this thing is starting to just kind of drift and glide, and you're starting to get scared of it getting stuck. So you're using the oars to kind of pull it one way. Like, it's challenging stuff. But after like an hour or two, kind of emerging from like the reeds are Gregory and Vil. And you're able to kind of pull the boat over to them, and they hop on. And so now it's at least the four of you drifting upriver in a borrowed orcish war barge, with the express promise to cut the hand off an orc named Ganvuk.
All right. Are we out of sight?
We should be.
Pull it over to the west bank. We'll send Hobie back. The cover of nightfall, the rest of the party will be here. We'll take this thing as far as it can go.
You mean steal the boat?
I mean, take the boat to the ridgeline and search for Avealora.
You don't think we should find Ganvuk?
Who's Ganvuk?
Ganvuk is the orc that we promised that we would bring back, either his hand or Ganvuk himself.
You promised to bring back the hand of an orc?
Well, either the hand or the orc. So I think
You're telling me an orc didn't kill you and you decided to press your luck to try to kill another orc?
Well, we just bring him back to negotiate. I think they could have a conversation about it and everything will be just fine.
What world do you live in?
The spiritual one.
Look, we have the boat. Somehow you got the boat.
We did it.
We did it with the help of Enteresh.
Whoever it was. Look, we get the rest of the party here and we sail forward.
Enteresh, Gregory. Say it. Enteresh.
Enteresh.
Close enough.
Fine.
I think we should take a vote. Either we steal away with the boat or we do what we were tasked and take it as promised.
All right, let's take a boat vote.
Boat.
All right. Boat vote. Jelly, why are you raising your hand?
Yep. We all raise our hands, and those who put them down are voting for what's What's happening?
Is that not how it works? I thought that everyone starts with it out.
You know what they call militaries who operate democratically?
Dead.
Happy?
Exactly. We don't have time for this.
Okay. Let's vote very quickly.
Right,
Those
ready?
in favor of stealing the boat, lower your hands.
What?
Are you lowering it, Kai? Are you lowering it, Jelly?
Are you stealing we have the boat. How are we stealing the boat?
Because technically we owe it back to them. We can't just take it. I mean, like, if we did what we were supposed to do, then we could just have it. Then it would be our boat.
We do have it.
Okay, I'm voting that we take it. So my hand goes down if I vote for it.
Okay, so that's 3 votes to take and 1 vote to do what we were supposed to do. Okay, I guess I lose. Let's take the boat.
I think we're meant to have this boat and we need it. As a thief, I think I can justify it.
Of course you can
Okay.
justify. Don't
So-
let one tribe of friendly orcs convince you. They would kill you when they're finished toying with you. I swear that to you.
This is against everything that's in the teachings of Enteresh. To go against my word is pretty tough. Pretty tough.
So you send Hobie back with the kind of the express plan of, like, you know, stay on the west bank of the river, you know, like, just go until you see a boat, get on that boat, it's us. So Hobie heads out with that express kind of missive to the rest of the knights. The rest of you sail north. And you do, in fact, see in the distance that village. Looks like a kind of a palisade-walled village, like the other orcish villages you've seen. That wasn't the bloodied encampment. And there are orcs on the walls, and they are aware of your presence. And you start sailing up to it. Now the river is. Actually, you know what? We're gonna roll to see how this tactically works itself out. Whoever's feeling lucky, just roll 2d6. On a failure, the river is very narrow here, which means that you're going to sail past. The orcs are going to see who's on this boat. A full success means this river's so wide you can stay on the west bank. This is on the east bank. Give it a big wide area to get around and probably sail through safe. Partial success means somewhere in the middle. So who's feeling lucky?
Well, why don't you roll with the power of your god?
Okay.
Wow,
The
that's a
power of
great idea.
Enteresh. This is just a straight 2d6.
Pure luck.
All right, Enteresh. Be with us. Oh, 6.
Oh, okay.
Damn. Damn.
A little bit of a cutscene. Mekuz the Beautiful is standing on the wall, watching the boat sail away, waving. And one of the other bloodied walks up to him and says, "You gave a human man and a human child the boat." Yes, yes. Why? Because Ganvuk's going to kill them and all of the friends that are probably hidden in the reeds. Saves us the trouble of doing so. And also, we will find the survivors of Ganvuk's village and ask how many there were, and then kill Ganvuk's village, and then kill the rest of them. You are wise as well as beautiful, Mekuz. I know, I am both. And he proceeds to eat some corn. The river starts to dramatically narrow. And unlike the unlike the bloodied village, this entire village here is like surrounded by a wall, even along the water, except for like this little couple of docks, and even that you have to like go through like a door to get through. And you see like orcs like lined up on the walls, like probably a dozen. And they see you, and one of them, wearing kind of these big long robes, raises his hands and starts chanting, and soon everyone else starts chanting. And you see kind of forming in a cloud above them an image of the boat. It's almost like they're conjuring a video of it in the clouds. And the person in the robe that's chanting kind of points and gestures and looks at the other orcs, and all of a sudden they start shooting arrows at you. So your big grassy longboat is sailing kind of up to the village, and you are just under archery fire right now. And there's really nowhere to hide, so you're kind of braced against the side of the boat, just hoping not to be shot. Who wants to do what?
Wait, it's just the four of us, yes?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm heavily armored, so I will run from what are the boat terms? The front to the back. What are they? They have words for
the fore is ahead, the aft is behind.
That, yes, so I'll run from fore to aft, hoping to draw fire away from the lightly armored.
Gotcha. Let's have you roll. This is going to be defy danger with strength. So 2d6 plus your strength.
Good thing it was my strength. 7.
Okay. So the good news is that you are indeed drawing fire from the others. The bad news is some of that fire is hitting you. You are hit with 2 arrows that each do 5 damage. Your armor does help. The second you get up and start running, the orc in the robes, who, let's just go ahead and call him Ganvuk, kind of gestures, and all of these orcs know what a legionary looks like, and they just start opening fire. And, there's arrows bouncing off your armor. One of them ends up, like, sneaking through right back there, and you have to yank that out. You're kind of running back and forth behind the mast as the ship is starting to get closer to this walled town. Who else wants to do something?
Is there a tree on the embankment?
There's a tree on the embankment.
Can I step into it and get to a higher vantage point?
Straight up 2d6 roll. We'll see how tactically advantageous this new position could be.
7?
It's just high enough that you could shoot in. You're about parallel to the wall. So you kind of step through a tree that's on a rise, and you kind of see, and this is not a big village, but everyone in this village is of fighting age and fighting right now. So there are about a dozen people up here on the wall just firing into your boat.
I'd like to aim at whoever's firing at Gregory.
Yeah, there are a pair of archers that are just like drawing arrow after arrow from this barrel and just like firing at Gregory, and like you see him behind the mast, like just getting hit. So sure, I'll let you aim at both with Blot Out the Sun. So 2d6 plus dexterity for a volley.
11.
Yep. So Ganvuk is looking and kind of screaming, "Yes, pour fire into them. That is Makuza's boat. This is some kind of treachery. Destroy it!" And just as he says destroy it, the 2 archers furthest down on the line fall with arrows in their backs. What? And, a couple of archers fan out and start looking for you, Vil, but they don't see you yet. Who's going next?
So I would like to say, this is not how I die. And so that will help me on in my physical feat, which I think I'm going to use defy danger to sort of protect myself from this dangerous situation.
Yeah. You've seen your own death, Jelly, and this is definitely not how you die. And I will let you roll 2d6 plus dexterity or strength, your choice, plus 1, because this is not how you die, to continue to defy these arrows.
Oh my gosh. I got an 11.
So, you look back and you, in your mind, you keep thinking, it's like, we're all on this boat. They're all up on a wall. They're shooting arrows into us. This is how I die, right? No, you've seen your own death. This is definitely not how you die. And as you're sitting there thinking about this, you're kind of leaning against a wall, like leaning against one of the railings of the boat, but it's not giving you much protection. But you're just sitting there and you're like, yeah, this isn't how I die. And there are just like arrows hitting all around you. And you're just kind of sitting there with like this big smile on your face. You're like, yeah, I come out of this okay. Just with a dozen arrows sticking out of the deck around you. Raz, you're up. What do you want to do?
Meanwhile, I'm being hit by arrows.
You are being hit by many arrows.
Left and right.
I'm just walking across. They're missing me.
You're welcome.
Do I get the sense that Gregory can take these arrows for a little while, or is he going to need help right immediately? It's
the fact that he's now like, he's got his kind of arms up like this, and he's protecting himself. Yeah, it stinks, but he's not about to die unless a 1 in a million shot like hits him in the eye or something. But you think he's okay for now.
Okay. I'm gonna use Orison of Guidance to pray for guidance from Enteresh and sacrifice my holy vestments.
Gotcha. So you've been carrying your holy vestments with you as a source of comfort and holy authority in these strange lands. But you take them off and you kind of fold them with a lot of reverence and put them down and hold your hands over them. And they don't necessarily catch fire, but they do start to smoke, and it's as if the smoke itself starts to consume them. That's a pretty big sacrifice. Enteresh tells you that Ganvuk, who is the seer and the ruler of this village, already has a disease that is impairing him. He essentially has a disordered heart. That's what Enteresh puts into your mind. Mm-hmm. And so anything you do to tax his heart, anything that afflicts his heart, would send the entire village into disarray.
Ooh.
Okay.
So what do you want to do with that?
I'm going to cast Contagion on Ganvuk and clog up his arteries.
Okay. 2d6 plus wisdom, but with the guidance of Enteresh, I will give you a +2 on top of that as well.
That is nice. So plus 3 total. Oh, are you kidding? Wow. 6.
No.
Unbelievable.
It was so dramatic of a sacrifice. Your holy vestments.
Oh, that.
Not again.
Oh, God.
I'll put it to you this way. I will let you bump it to a 7, but you are going to be the target of their malice and revenge for a full turn.
I'll do it.
Okay. So you stand up and look at Ganvuk, and Ganvuk like orders a bunch of archers to just open fire on you. And you hold out your hand and you speak words. And all of Ganvuk's followers see him have a heart attack and die in front of them.
Oh.
On a ridge a mile away, Makuz the Beautiful sees the same thing. And then he turns to the host of Bloodied behind him. Hold. You are then hit with a barrage, a fusillade of arrows. Here's what that means. Every partial success Jellyville and Gregory get over this next round will just result in Raz getting shot. So each of you need to take one more action, because at this point, this is heat of battle and the commander has fallen, but you are still the enemy. So like things haven't broken down yet. So you all have to do one more thing. So let's start with Gregory. What do you want to do?
Well, don't have much to throw at them, and we're on a boat. So I'm going to continue my strategy of hoping to draw fire. I will. I see that the attention has gone to Raz. I will attempt to aid him, take as much fire as I can. Hopefully, grab an arrow or two out of the air.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay. 2d6 plus strength again. Tell me what you got.
Strength 7.
All right. So Raz, you take 5 damage from an arrow hitting you. And at this point, you're at the closest you can get to the village. And in this moment, the door to one of the piers is kicked open. And one of the orcs, like, sprints down the dock and leaps onto the boat with two things. He's got a hatchet in one hand and a torch in the other. So we're just going to go ahead and pause it right there. And Gregory, this is your show for a second. So yeah, there's an orc on this boat that is going to try to kill you and or destroy the boat. What do you want to do?
And it's scaling the side of the boat currently?
It is. It like leapt from the pier,
on.
And this person is an athlete, and that was like probably a 15-foot horizontal leap to land on the boat. And he's now just in front of you with like a burning torch and a hatchet.
All right, square up. Apologize to the line breaker. I'm going to hold up my left cestus, hoping for a hatchet strike to embed it and pull him off balance. If I can do that, I'll work his head with the right.
Hack and slash, 2d6 plus strength.
That's a 12. That's a 12. And now I get to use smash.
Yes.
That is here.
Wow.
Yeah. Smash.
Finally.
First and foremost, deal your damage. That's going to be 2d6. Oh, yay. Our first use of smash. This is so exciting. 2d6 plus 4. 2d4 plus 2.
Plus 2. Oh, that is a 9 then.
Yeah. And all right, smash. I will read it for those of you watching at home. When you hack and slash on a 12 plus, deal your damage and choose something physical your target has. A weapon, their position, a limb. They lose it. What are they losing?
Well, they're going to lose that torch. That thing's dangerous on essentially a floating wicker basket.
Super dangerous, yeah. So, yeah.
They're going to lose that right into my hand. And I'm going to put it down. I'm going to put it out down his throat.
Yes. So yeah, you like bone crushing body blow. Comes in wielding the torch. Like you end up catching like the first strike, body blow, and this orc is panicked at this point, so he's going to just plunge the torch into the boat. But you grab it and instead plunge it down his throat. And yeah, that orc is now hurled bodily off the boat. Vil, you're up. At this point, it's kind of scattered chaos. There are orcs looking for you. There are a bunch of orcs firing into the boat at Raz.
Yes, well, the orcs won't find me. I had my bow trained on the orc in the boat with Gregory, but seeing that orc is well taken care of, I'll aim at some of the ones that are firing at Raz.
All right. With volley, you can, with volley and blot out the sun, you can hit a dramatically appropriate number of them. So 2d6 plus your dexterity for a volley.
6.
Okay. So you start firing, and you end up hitting one of the orcs, but that orc, just in one of those 1 in a million moments, is like turning to grab an arrow from next to him when he sees an arrow like shoot from like that weird old tree on the hill. And then he kind of looks and he's like, "A tree shot an arrow at me." And he kind of looks and he whistles and points to the two orcs that are kind of scanning the horizon in your direction to focus on the tree. You don't think they see you, but you think now they will eventually.
Yeah, they're going to find me.
Yeah, you end up firing a couple of more arrows, which one of them, in kind of a 1 in a million shot, knocks another arrow out of the sky that was aimed at Raz. But yeah, now you just see orcs like starting to run up a hill. But yeah, they're not charging because they don't know where you are yet. Jelly, you're up. What do you want to do?
Okay. Well, since I feel pretty confident that I'm not just gonna get like straight up killed, so I'm able to summon the courage from that knowledge that I have from This Is Not How I Die. So I'm going to get out there, and I want to use some of those pointy little blades that are part of what make this like a wicker basket boat. I want to pull some of those out, and I want to make a weapon or / like I guess it could be defy danger, because maybe I'll just make it into like a shield, because they're really, really tough, and I'm gonna help protect Raz, because I'm not scared of dying, but I'm scared that he might die.
Yeah, that's very fair. Let's do a 2d6 plus dexterity defy danger and see what happens with it.
Oh yeah, all right. So I got a 9.
Okay, so Raz, you end up taking another 5 damage from an arrow. And yeah, like you see Jelly like running along the railing of the boat, like ripping out these razor sharp like long grass and like wrapping it around his arm to make this like big bulky shieldy thing. Another orc is actually running now alongside the shore and kind of leaps and grabs onto the railing. Jelly, like you run over and like pull some of this sharp grass and just start stabbing the orc in the hand. This stuff is sharp. And that orc ends up falling into the water. And yeah, you end up like getting in front of Raz and holding this thing up, and a couple of arrows embed in the grass, but you're not going to die. And for the moment, you don't think Raz is going to die. So at this point, there's now like, there's arrows kind of flying everywhere. Raz, you end up like, based on the angle, based on Gregory and Jelly both protecting you, the orcs who are now disordered are just buffeting the whole boat with fire, and a couple of them are looking for Vil. You're still in range of all of this. So Raz, what would you like to do?
Um, I guess I'm gonna. There are some dead orcs with us, right?
Oh yeah, there's
no.
one dead orc on this boat. There are a couple of dead orcs up on the wall.
Let's
There are
raise an
definitely
orc
dead orcs.
army for us.
Yep.
I'm gonna animate. I guess one of these orcs.
Yeah, you can animate one.
All right.
2d6 plus wisdom, please.
10.
All right. So with that full success, and considering how horrifying this is, we are just gonna go ahead and narrate our way through the rest of this. One of the orcs on the wall, like with an arrow in the back of his neck, opens his eyes and rises and gives off an orcish war cry before just like plunging his hand into another orc's face and ripping his jaw off. And now there is panic on the wall. Ganvuk is dead because he had a heart attack because that guy looked at him. And now our buddy just rose from the dead and killed our other buddy. And at this point, kind of order is breaking down. So let's just have each of you, Jelly, Vil, and Gregory, just narrate one sentence about what you do in your own way to kind of get through the rest of this in dramatically appropriate fashion.
In their
Well,
panic,
once I see that chaos is breaking loose, I'm going to walk back into the tree that I came from, jump onto the boat, and just open fire on anyone that comes near.
That is exactly what you do. You kind of step, like just as the orcs are like approaching the tree, they thought they saw the tree have a face for a moment, but that's their imagination clearly, because when they get there, it's just a tree. You kind of emerge from like a scrub tree along the dock, hop back on the boat, and the orcs that still have the presence of mind to fire, you just start putting arrows into them and they start dropping.
In the chaos that ensues in the orc camp, a couple of them leap off the ramparts on the boat because it's the closest thing that's not reanimated orcish dead. They land on the boat in a, not gracefully. They are down. One of them gets up. I strike it in the knee. The knee buckles, and I continue my momentum, spinning around, grabbing the ankle, and essentially throwing it off like a hammer toss.
Mm-hmm.
The other one staggers to its feet, looks at me, looks at Raz, who is probably the embodiment of a demon to them at this point, and just jumps off the boat into the river, tries to swim a bit, but it is encumbered and dense and sinks to the bottom.
Jelly?
Yeah, so I pull out my rapier to pair with my shield made of the really razor sharp blades of grass. So I am using fancy footwork, and I am running about, and I am using quickness and swiftness to sort of blend in with the chaos and take down whatever orcs I can, just by slitting their like Achilles tendon, and then just like never stop moving, like a hummingbird.
Yeah, and just the ballet of like Gregory swinging like giant armored fists, and you kind of running around like hacking at tendons while Vil is firing arrows and like Raz is ordering a zombie to kill other things. Like it's just this weird like violent ballet, and it gets to a point where the orcs that are left, end up kind of breaking or are just dead. Eventually the arrows stop because there's no one left to shoot them, and the boat sails out. All of you take to the process of stabilizing Raz, who's badly hurt, and then Raz in turn starts healing all of you. And as high noon fades to afternoon, And then eventually into night, you are all like well out of view of the town or the orcs behind. And mercifully, there's no other village on this river. You end up kind of stopping the boat and dropping what could best be described as the most makeshift anchor you've ever seen. And after a few like very tense hours of waiting, Vil, you hear a very welcome honk on the air, followed by it is Hobie leading the rest of the Knights of Prospect, plus a giant siege engine, plus the heir apparent to the Dominion of Vor, who all hop aboard the boat, and you all sail off deeper into the Keening Fields. What a day.
Oof. Oof. I have to assume there are ointments involved here on Raz.
Yeah. Like just a mix of incredibly stinky poultices, as well as like the healing of Enteresh, and that kind of leaves an aroma, at least to you, Gregory. But yeah, there's the knights are all gathered together, smelling these terrible smells and hearing all of you regale them with what exactly you needed to do to get this boat. So we'll end it right there, except for the epilogue. Makuz the Beautiful has changed into his war caprice, and he is striding through the ruins of the village to his north. He climbs to the top of the wall and looks at Ganvuk's body. No wounds. Taps his chest. He died of fright. Brilliant. And he unceremoniously takes Ganvuk's head, twists it off, and throws his body over the wall. As he watches the body kind of hit the wall once and then like start rolling into the river, he sees like a waterlogged orc like crawling out from the banks and like tearing off his armor and like coughing all the water out of his lungs. Makuz the Beautiful leaps down and picks this orc up by the head. Who did this? A human. And a human child. And an elf and a dwarf. But that human wasn't a human. He was a demon. A demon sent from Alve Elora. And Makuz kind of cradles his cheek. That is okay. Makuz the Beautiful hunts demons. He will hunt them all the way to Alve Elora. So we'll end it right there.
Come on.
Oh boy.
Your new frenemy, Makuz the Beautiful.
My God.
You technically...
We held up our end of the bargain, kind of. Basically.
Yeah, you did. What's funny is if that river was wider, this would have ended like 25 minutes ago, and you all just would have been like on the boat having dinner. But you had to fight your way through it.
For a little leisure Makuz cruise.
Yep. Yeah, just a pleasant
Makuz cruise.
A pleasant harbor Makuz cruise.
All inclusive.
The like Bob Seger music playing over crackly speakers and eating overpriced apps and zerts.
All in Makusin.
Some demons on horseback.
Yeah. Well, anyway, everybody, thank you for joining us for this evening's Makuz Cruise. We have been and will continue to be the Knights of Prospect. This was episode 56. If you had fun and want to check out the first 55, which, by the way, 55 episodes, that's bonkers. If you want to catch the first 55 episodes, We are on YouTube. Just look up Knights of Prospect on YouTube. We are on podcasts. We are a podcast. We exist as a podcast. So get Knights of Prospect wherever you find your podcasts. Or just tune in live every Saturday at 8 p.m. right here on 2MB Studios, which you should subscribe to and or support via Patreon. We'll see you next week, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Ooh.
Bye.